Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and I would like to call to order the teleconference meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee for February 26, 2021. Before we begin, please be advised this meeting is being recorded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Good morning, everyone. Director Cochran.
Here.
Director Grosboll. Absent. Director Hernandez.
Here.
Director Hill.
Here.
Vice Chair Tirio.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Arnold.
Here.
And President Parr.
Present.
Thank you. You do have a quorum. There are 9 members of the board on the line. Also on the line is Directors Frederick, Snyder, and Maston.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to confirm staff on the line. Dennis Mulligan.
Good morning, everybody.
Joe Wire, are you on the line? Not. Ava Bauer-Furbish.
Present.
Thank you. Attorney Madeline Chen.
Good morning.
Thank you. Steve Miller, are you on the line?
Morning, Emred. I'm here.
Thank you. Mona Babauta.
Present.
For joining everyone.
Sorry about that. Jim Swindler, are you on the line?
Present.
Thank you. And Kelly Hopper, are you on the line?
Present.
Thank you. And also with us is our Tima Say Davenport. Are you there, Tima?
Correct. Present.
Great. Thank you. That confirms the staff on the line.
Great. Good morning, staff. So thank you. I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phones until staff's presentation and remember to unmute when we open up for director's discussion. After staff's presentation, I will be asking for questions, comments, or concerns on the item. If there are questions, the secretary or I will call on you accordingly. After our discussion, we will ask for any public comment before taking a roll call vote. Each vote of the meeting packet is numbered on the bottom right-hand corner for ease of following along. We will begin with item 3 on the agenda to authorize execution of the Fourth Amendment to the Software and Services Master Agreement with Tango Health, Inc., relative to Best Practice number 2106-D-17, Affordable Care Act and Benefits Administration Technology and Service Solutions. The staff report begins on page 3, and we have Kelly Hopper on the line to present the information. Ms. Hopper, please begin your presentation.
Thank you, Chair Arnold and members of the committee. I am here today to recommend approval of the Fourth Amendment of our Best Interest Agreement with Tango Health in the amount of $60,000. Tango Services, they produce our required reporting to the federal government and our employees, which verify the level of insurance coverage that is provided under the Affordable Care Act on behalf of the district. The district has worked with Tango since 2016 when the reporting requirement was implemented under the Affordable Care Act to demonstrate minimum essential coverage as well as the employer shared responsibility reporting that was required. The reason that we engaged in an agreement with Tango Health is that the district systems cannot produce the required reporting under the IRS reporting. So we've been working with them since 2016. And we are asking for one for this year as well. I just want to make a note is with the bus operators, painters, and non-represented classes going to CalPERS starting in January 1 of this year, that reporting will be handled by CalPERS in the years forward. For the current coalition members who are still part of the district's self-insured plan, we will have to do that reporting, but with the IFAS upgrade, we will be able to do this reporting in-house moving forward as long as the coalition are on our current district benefits and not through CalPERS. So I'm available to answer any questions you might have regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions from directors on this item? Madam Secretary, could you call on board members who have questions?
I'm hearing none right now. Are there any board members with questions for Kelly? Sounds like we have none.
Okay. That concludes the discussion, but before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 3?
We checked in and there are no speakers on this item from the public.
Okay, thank you. So we will now move on to voting on item 3. May I have a motion on the item?
I move to spend the money.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Thank you. We have, we're voting on item number 3 with a first from Director Cheerio and a second from Director Cochran, starting from Director Cochran.
Yes.
Yes. Director Grosval. Absent. Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Aye. Director Hill.
Yes.
Yes. Vice Chair Cheerio.
Yes.
Chair Arnold.
Aye.
Aye. And President Parr.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. That motion passes 6-0.
All right, thank you. So now let's move on to item number 4, which is the annual progress status report and update on Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. The staff report begins on page 7, and Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program Administrator, Ms. Artemis Davenport, will present this report. Ms. Davenport, please begin.
Thank you, Chair Arnold. Good morning, all. I hope all has been well and in good spirits considering the time. Thank you for the opportunity to present on the district's DBE program. The staff report before you is not a recommendation for the board to take action, but is information only to give you an update and a status report of the district's DBE program. There is a lot of information in the report, so I'll try to summarize each section of the report and at times elaborate a little more on the information noted and can answer any questions you may have. Please keep in mind that the information in the report only covers updates to the U.S. DOT DBE program for federal fiscal year 2019-2020 that began October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020, with the exception of the annual gross receipt that was adjusted by the Secretary of U.S. DOT. That's the only update that occurred outside of this reporting period, and I will speak on that in a moment. I do also want to note that this is the first, this reporting period is the first of the district's overall triennial goal of 3.2%. I do want to quickly refresh your memory of the general definition of a DBE, and that is a for-profit small business concern that is at least 51% owned by one or more individuals who are both socially and economically disadvantaged, meaning any individual who is a U.S. citizen or lawful admitted permanent resident of the United States that has been subject to racial or ethnic prejudice or cultural biases within American society because of their identity as members of groups. These presumptive groups include Americans that are Black, Hispanic, Asian Pacific, Subcontinent Asian, Native American, women, or any other group whose members are designated as socially and economically disadvantaged by the Small Business Administration. The management and daily business operations must be controlled by one or more of the socially and economically disadvantaged individuals who own the company. Owners' personal net worth cannot exceed $1.32 million. A DBE firm, including affiliates, must be a small business as defined by the U.S. Small Business Administration, whose annual gross receipts over the previous 3 fiscal years do not exceed $26.29 million. As mentioned a moment ago, this is the only update that took effect January 13, 2021. The U.S. DOT did amend the small business size cap or gross receipt cap from 23.98 million to 26.29 million. I do want to remind you that the DBE program is operated by 3 administrations: the Federal Transit Administration, the Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Aviation Administration. This amendment only applies to Federal Transit and Federal Highway operating administration. The gross receipt for Federal Aviation is a little bit higher. It's $56.42 million. The district's SBE program mirrors the DBE program, but offers a wider spectrum of acceptable SBE certification certified by government entities or other public transit agencies that also do SBE certification in addition to DBE certification. Section A, Federal Transit Administration Update. I am on page 8. There were no new updates during this reporting period since the last revisions back in November of 2014. Section B, the Federal Highway Administration Update. So Caltrans has been very busy updating its DBE program and working on its next overall goal. The district is a subrecipient of FHWA funds through Caltrans and follows their DBE program when contracts are assisted in whole or in part with FHWA funds. Caltrans does, they have a overall DBE goal for fiscal year 2019-2020 is 17.6%, of which they expect to meet their goal by a split goal, which is 13.4% race conscious and 4.2% race neutral. Here's the difference between race conscious and race neutral. Race conscious simply means that a DBE goal was established on a contract to specifically assist only DBEs and to help meet the overall DBE goal. Race neutral means taking necessary measures to achieve DBE participation without setting a DBE goal on a contract. So race neutral measures assist all small businesses, not just considering race or gender. The district participates in achieving Caltrans statewide DBE goal by establishing approved DBE goals on contracts that have enough subcontracting opportunities for contracts assisted with FHWA funds. This is the only time that the district is permitted to set a DBE goal. There must, again, be enough subcontracting opportunities available. There are no DBE set-asides permitted or quotas used to establish DBE goals on contracts. So agencies that do set DBE goals on contracts must have legal and defensible evidence that discrimination does exist in its contracting. And the best evidence that will hold up in court is a disparity study conducted by a consulting firm. Disparity studies have a shelf life of about 3 to 5 years. So Caltrans, again, has been busy. They have conducted several disparity studies. And in July of 2020, Caltrans commissioned BBC Research and Consulting to conduct another disparity study for their upcoming overall DBE goal due to FHWA August 1st of this year. The study is scheduled to be complete by this June 2021. I do want to note that the district did not award any new FHWA assisted contracts. Therefore, no DBE goals were established during the this reporting period. However, the district did award change orders and amendments on existing FHWA assisted contracts, and those dollars awarded and spent with DBE firms are found in the FHWA table at the bottom of page 9 that we will take a look at in a bit. Caltrans has updated its DBE program to address identified potential areas of risk for non-compliance to DBE regulations for some local agencies. So Caltrans, they conducted a study of about 19 transit agencies selected by their Division of Local Assistance. The district was not among these agencies. But what the study found is that agencies did not fully comply with the regulations in the areas of non-discrimination and contract assurance clauses, designating a disadvantaged business enterprise liaison officer, prompt progress payments, payments of withheld funds to subcontractors, monitoring prime contractor performance, commitments compared to DBE utilization, goal setting, good faith efforts procedures, prime contractor requirements, and reconsideration of hearing procedures. That's a lot of areas. The study further revealed the overall rate of compliance in these areas was about an average rate of 43%, of course, out of 100. So to address these areas, it was recommended that Caltrans enhance its local agency procedures manual to provide necessary training for local agencies, in addition to improve their communication with local agencies by issuing office bulletins as another form of guidance. So Caltrans did make updates to its LAPM, the Local Assistance Procedure Manual, Chapter 9. This is where you'll find the Civil Rights and DBE program and related exhibits. The district recently updated Exhibit 9A, the DBE Implementation Agreement for local agencies, and has received a signed copy by Caltrans. In order for the district to continue to receive FHWA funds, the district must have a signed agreement. Again, Exhibit 9A. Also, the district must submit to Caltrans Exhibit 9B, which is the local agency DBE, say that enough, DBE annual submittal form for each federal fiscal year. Exhibit 9B does outline how the district will comply with Caltrans DBE program. It does identify the DBE LO, the DBE liaison officer, the race-neutral measures that the district will implement to assist with meeting the statewide goal, prompt payment methods the district will use out of the 3 methods available, and finally mechanisms in place to enforce prompt payment to monitor and contractor performance. The district is due to submit to Caltrans Exhibit 9B, this form, by the end of June this year for federal fiscal year 2021-2022. I'm on Section C, the bottom of page 8, a status report on the Small Business Enterprise Program. Here we look at the success of the district's SBE program. The district applies its SBE program to all district contracts, regardless of the funding source, where race-neutral and gender-neutral methods are employed. This means that the district uses race-neutral methods for FTA-assisted contracts and district contracts. Again, race-conscious measures are required for FHWA-assisted contracts. That's where goals, DBE goals, are established and approved by Caltrans, no matter the value. For the reporting period, the district did establish 4 SBE goals on contracts noted in the table at the top of page 9. And as you can see, the district was able to foster DBE participation on 3 out of the 4 contracts. So overall, the district has done extremely well with achieving SBE participation, including DBE. 2 of the contracts were awarded to SBE prime contractors. The district will continue to analyze contracts that have enough subcontracting opportunities in order to establish small business goals. In addition to, staff will also analyze large contracts that can be unbundled in an effort to create more opportunities for small businesses. Section D, the annual progress report. So the district does track its spending with DBE firms and all funding sources. The following tables highlight DBE participation and/or achievement. So the figures in the FTA and FHWA tables are based on awards and commitments. The district-wide table highlights actual dollars spent with DBEs. Let's take a look at the FHWA and district-wide tables first, starting at the bottom of page 9. The FHWA table applies to contracts awarded in whole or in part with FHWA funds. Again, the district awarded change orders and/or amendments with value changes on existing FHWA-assisted contracts. So over $841,000 was awarded and of that amount, over $239,000 was awarded to DBE firms. That's equivalent to about 29% FHWA dollars to DBEs. Please turn to page 10 for the district-wide table. The amounts apply to district purchases paid directly to DBE vendors by the district, and actual payments to DBEs made by the prime contractors or prime consultants to their subcontractors. The district spent over $2.4 million with minority-owned businesses and over $65,000 with non-minority owned, which are your Caucasian women-owned DBE firms. The district's prime contractors and consultants paid over $423,000 with minority-owned firms and over $571,000 with non-minority, with your women-owned firms. Overall, $3,534,402 was spent with DBE firms in fiscal year 2019-2020. Now, if you will, please turn back to the top of page 9 to take a look at the FTA table. The district is expected to meet its overall DBE goal of 3.2% each year of the triennial period. The calculation for meeting an overall DBE goal is to divide the federal fiscal year total DBE amount of awards and commitments by the federal fiscal year total of FTA dollars awarded. The calculation is the same for all agencies. The district reports to FTA on a semi-annual basis, so on June 1st and also on December 1st each year. The amounts reported are only the federal share. So you take the total of both reports using the formula I just mentioned to determine if the goal was met for that fiscal year. As you can see noted in the table, the district awarded over $47 million FTA dollars, and of that amount, over $276,000 was awarded to DBE firms, which is equivalent to 0.6%. Unfortunately, the district did not meet its goal for very valid reasons I'll explain in the next section. I do want to remind you that the district cannot be penalized for not meeting its goal if practicing its program in good faith, but we must analyze, the district must analyze the reasons for the shortfall and create a corrective action plan to try to meet the goal for the next federal fiscal year. The district is not among the top 50 agencies that are required to submit its shortfall analysis and corrective action plan to FTA, but the district is required to keep its analysis and corrective action plan on file for 3 years for FTA review. Moving on to section E, the shortfall analysis, I'm on page 10. One reason for the shortfall is the reporting of the coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security, known as CARES Act funds, that the district received in response to the pandemic. The district did receive $51.5 million and was instructed by FTA to report on these funds. FTA received a gamut of questions from grantees on how to spend these funds, how do recipients, DBE programs, how this affects their programs, are agencies required to submit a new DBE goal, just how the DBE department, or excuse me, program would be impacted. The FTA published a document titled Frequently Asked Questions from FTA Grantees Regarding Coronavirus Disease 2019, parentheses COVID-19. That led the district to even more questions on how to actually report these funds. In June of 2020, a few other agencies, including the district, reached out to FTA Regional Operations, Office of Civil Rights, for further guidance on how to report these funds, and was instructed to count CARES Act funds at 100% used towards services or work that could be contracted or subcontracted. When calculating these funds towards eligible expenses, the district included in its FTA uniform report in December an additional $43.8 million that was paid to bus and ferry operating vendors. Of this amount, over $236,000 was paid to DBE vendors. Again, the funds reported do not include any ineligible expenses such as employee wages or benefits. The second contributing factor to the district's shortfall was the change in the funding source for contract number 2019 F058. That is the district's Larkspur Ferry Service and Parking Expansion Contract. As a reminder, this contract had an established SBE goal of 10% that the prime exceeded, including 15.3% DBE participation. In the early part of 2019, when the district was establishing its proposed overall triannual DBE goal, the district anticipated receiving FTA funds for this contract. Therefore, it was included in the district's overall triannual DBE goal. I waited all year for this contract to be awarded because I was very hopeful that DBE participation would be achieved. And so I ran the numbers, or district staff ran the numbers and excluded CARES Act funds and included the award of contract 2019 F58 just to see if we would have achieved our goal. And in fact, we would have achieved 6.5% DBE participation for fiscal year 2019-2020. Unfortunately, again, there were no FTA funds for this contract, so it was not reported. Although the district plans to carry out race-neutral measures to try to meet its overall triennial goal for the next fiscal year by the activities listed in the report, the district is also cognizant it may fall short again of meeting its overall goal due to the receipt of Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021. The first tranche of these funds were received this month, and the district anticipates receiving the second tranche of funds next month. I can tell you that district staff is already in motion with planning some of the outreach activities that are listed in the staff report on page 11. The district is a member of the Business Outreach Committee, which is a consortium of Bay Area transit and transportation agencies. And we are hosting two certification webinars in March, starting with an SBE certification in partnership with the California Department of General Services, as well as NorCal Procurement Technical Assistance Center, known as NorCal PTAC. We will also host a DBE certification webinar on March 16th. The Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority will present on DBE certification, as well as we have partnered with the NorCal Procurement Technical Center for that event as well. A lot of the certifying agencies will be available during that webinar: Caltrans, Samtrans, SFMTA, VTA, and again, NorCal PTAC. The BOC is also working on hosting a How to Do Business with public transit agencies. We plan to use the Zoom platform for this event, and hopefully we'll host that in April. And in July, the district staff, including our procurement staff, will participate in a virtual Gov2Biz matchmaker event. That event connects small business owners with agencies and large prime contractors. That event is actually hosted by NorCal Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And that concludes the district's annual update on its DBE program. I do thank you for your patience as I covered the material, and I am happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Davenport, for your presentation. So now let me go to the committee. Are there any director questions on item 4?
This is Bert Hill, Chair. I'd like to speak.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Director Hill.
This is the second meeting that I've seen your presentations and your work, and I'm just in awe. I don't know how you handle the complexity of all the stuff like you do. I'm just amazed. So I'm not technical enough to understand all the details on it, but you are certainly so thorough, and I just can't praise you more for what you've done in this project. Thank you.
You're so kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other director?
Madam Chair, this is Director Hernandez. May I comment, please?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Through the chair to Tima, echoing my colleague's comments, we've been receiving this information from you for a number of years, and you're always just amazing with the level of detail. And this particular report, you seem to anticipate all of my questions. I had a couple of questions that I was ready to ask, but you anticipated them. I appreciated your definition and distinction between race neutral and what's the other one?
Race conscious.
In any case, yes, exactly. That was something that stumped me when I read the report, and so I know there were a couple of other instances as well that you sort of anticipated my questions. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
This is a particularly strange and a difficult period with regard to the extra work that has been developed for you and the program as a result of the pandemic and the new funding sources coming in, certainly the CARES Act. We realize that the situation is distinct for this period as compared to previous years, and that and your reasons, the two reasons that you explained so well with regard to why we did not reach those goals. Appreciated you sort of fleshing those out for us. And again, just thank you for what you do. For those on the call and on the committee who also have seen you in action on the Diversity and Equity Committee. Again, so appreciative of all your efforts. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone else with question or comment?
Chair Arnold, Director Terrio.
Pardon me, who is this?
There were a couple of us, Director Terrio, and I think President Parr also, was it?
Great, okay, go ahead.
Barb, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'd like to echo what Director Hernandez said. Tima, when you presented to the Equity Committee, you presented a little different outlook, and it had to do with how integrated you are personally and the Golden Gate Bridge is with all of the state and local agencies trying to enhance our DBE participation. And that was certainly exemplary. And I say that in the context of how frustrating it must be for you to put so much work and so much time into making sure that we meet our goals and still have us fall a little bit short. And I just want you to know that we understand that, and especially from the group that heard your other presentation, it's overwhelming the amount of time you put in to make what happens happen. And you came up with some great ideas, and hopefully as part of the Equity Committee, we can move some of those forward and help your department and our bridge organization be even more successful. But thank you for all you do, and don't be discouraged when it falls short.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a little disheartening when we fall short, but totally understandable. Again, goal setting is very hard. Trying to figure out or guesstimate what we'll be doing in the next 3 years, and COVID just gave us an example of how challenging that can be. You don't know what you're going to be faced with. So I do appreciate your appreciation. So thank you.
Hey, Director Terrio, did you have a question or comment?
Well, essentially, I was going to say amen to what Directors Hill and Hernandez had said. I'll say amen also now to what President Parr said in terms of their compliments to Ms. Davenport. And I look forward to working with you again, Ms. Davenport, on the Equity Advisory Committee.
Yes.
And hopefully we can come up with some ways to help the district and you achieve better success in this regard. You've helped us understand some of the challenges involved, and so we'll look at those hard, and maybe we can get past them together. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I had a question. I know, listening to the federal report, most organizations, Board of Supervisors, committee members, are doing equity studies, and I know last night at the TAM meeting we were discussing an equity program. And so my question is the work that is being done for the federal equity, can some of that be applicable to to our Golden Gate Bridge, and can we fold some of those in? As I see it, I'm not sure. Equity studies don't have the figures that the federal government requires, but some of the rules and some of the workings and of this, I think probably we can use. And I don't know what where the equity committee is, but I'm just asking, can we take a page out of the federal guidelines and bring them over to locally?
So the district does apply its DBE program to all contracts. So that language is pretty much in all of our contracts. We use the SBE program to establish those SBE goals. And it's similar to a DBE goal, but again, the range of it's open to all small businesses. Mm-hmm. So we do try to utilize it, especially if we're going to set an SBE goal. All of that language, again, mirrors the DBE language. So we are pretty much applying the same, the contract clauses and some of the same efforts as we do for our federal and to all of our contracts. Again, the only difference is we are able to establish those DBE goals on the FHWA side, and then SBE goals for FTA and for district contracts. But all of our measures, all of our race-neutral efforts, and everything that we're doing for FTA, we are also doing on the district side.
So apparently there's going to be an equity coming to the full board. Is that true?
Yes, if I may, this is Dennis. The Equity Committee has 3 areas it's looking at, and the third area is consistent with what Tam discussed last night.
Great.
I was pleased that Tam's discussion last night, the first PowerPoint slide had a picture of our Route 70 bus on it.
That's right.
But the TAM presentation last night was focused on equity in terms of transportation to the community, and that'll be the third principal topic taken up by the board's Equity Committee. Great,
thank you. I heard this definition, and I'm just going to share it, especially with the Equity Committee. They say equality is where everyone gets a pair of shoes. Equity is they fit. So you might keep that in mind.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Madam
thank you
Chair,
so
may I
much.
be recognized?
Pardon me? Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for that quote. I'm gonna hold on to that one. Certainly, as chairperson of the Equity Committee, I'm grabbing at everything I possibly can, and the committee members have been, I'm sure, excited to really continue the work and get it flowing. We've had a couple of really interesting discussions just today and yesterday that have brought up the importance of dealing with the issues of equity and diversity and real life examples of the impacts. And so I know the committee is raring to go. Unfortunately, we have a couple of other heated priorities with the district regarding finances and MTC monies and additional grants from the federal government, et cetera, during these very difficult times. But I know that the president of the board, Barb, is very supportive of trying to, certainly move the committee forward as we can, and we'll be working together. Equity study, sure. equity officer, great. Let's talk about all of those things. There's some really exciting discussions to be had in the equity committee and through the full board. And I know we're all looking forward to getting rolling on that as soon as possible. So thank you for allowing me the time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any other director have a comment? Okay. There's no action associated with item number 4. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair Arnold. We're going to check into the public line to see if there's any speakers on this item, as well as the item for number 5 under public comment. So bear with us for just a second. Thank you. We confirm there are no speakers for this item or under public comment.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for a great meeting. And I think everyone has a lot to think about. And thank you again to staff, Ms. Harper and Ms. Davenport, for great reports. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
So moved.
And a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Madam Secretary, did you get that?
I got all of that.
Okay. If there are no objections,
yeah,
pardon me?
Dick. This is Dick. I just want to acknowledge I joined the meeting for most of that, so thanks.
Oh, good. Okay. So if there are no objections, this includes this meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee. Thank you, colleagues, and the time is 9:42 a.m.